kind of like what is considered high income. If people are earning high income salary, they're probably earning this figure or somewhere within this range. I first moved to Australia, my first job, it was minimum wage, and I could afford to live, and I could afford to live comfortably on a minimum wage. And after tax take home is still, pretty good money. Being mindful that the cost of living has gone up and things are more expensive. Hello everyone, my name is Kudzie Mapiye and welcome. On this channel I do videos about my life living here in Australia, and I also share different life lessons that I've learned along the way. In today's video I'm going to be talking about how much money you can earn if you are working in Australia. I know a lot of people are interested in moving to Australia at the moment, and people would like to know, how much can I earn if I work in Australia? So today I'm going to give you a range, and this is the salary range that most people in Australia will earn. So if you are working in whatever industry that you're working in Australia, you are most likely to fall within this range of income. And I also have the pre-tax dollars and the after-tax dollars, so your actual take home pay that you will have, so that you can kind of look at budgeting, what you can afford, what you can't afford, and if you can actually afford to live in Australia with the income that you will be earning. So I'm going to start with the minimum wage. So as set by the Fair Work Commission, and these figures are as of the 1st of January 2023. So the minimum the national minimum wage in Australia currently is $23.23 an hour for adults. So this is how much an adult can get paid as a minimum wage if they're working in whatever industry. So, and this is like what is nationally set. There are also different awards in different industries. So you have like your workplace award in most industries, and most awards will be at least this $23.23 an hour. So if you're thinking, if you're working, maybe getting the very minimum pay, that's what you'll be getting. And on average, so this is what the Fair Work Commission sets, $23.23 an hour, or I'm just going to look down because I've got the figures because I want them to be accurate for you, or $882.80 per week. This is the gross, like pre-tax dollars. That is a minimum wage per week. That adds up to about approximately 45,000 something a year is the minimum wage. Now, if you are earning a minimum wage in Australia, if you're someone who's thinking, I want to come to Australia and, I just want to get any job, or you've got a partner that you're coming with and they might get, any job, this is what you can start kind of like basing your calculations on. So if you're getting $882.80 per week pre-tax, after tax, if they're just going to tax you at that level, and you're going to be getting taxed approximately $121 of that money. There's going to be $121 approximately taken off that. So the amount that you'll be left with to take home is approximately $761 a week in your pocket if you are earning the minimum wage. So that can give you a vague idea of, what you can start basing your calculations on if you want to calculate cost of accommodation, if you want to calculate cost of childcare and all that. And I have done videos previously on the cost of accommodation, and also the cost of childcare, and I will link them in the description box below if you want to then make some calculations based on the minimum wage. Now, the Fair Work Commission also sets the high income threshold. Now, what the high income threshold is the maximum amount of money you can claim for like unfair dismissal with the Fair Work Commission. So they're saying here that this is like the high income threshold that you can make a claim and it will be accepted, like if you're unfairly dismissed. What it basically means is this is kind of like what is considered high income. If people are earning high income salary, they're probably earning this figure or somewhere within this range, and this is usually like maybe the highest income range in a workplace, and that figure is $167,500 a year, and all these figures are in Australian dollars. $167,500 a year, which works out to be approximately $3,221 per week before tax. And so if you're earning $3,221 before tax, approximately you will be charged about $970 in tax. And then from that, you'll get, as take home money, you'll get $2,251 in your pocket. And when I'm talking about these tax figures, I am referring to the tax amount, which is claiming the tax-free threshold, and these are figures that are set by the Australian Tax Office. And I'm going to be using the word approximate because I do not want to give you like exact figures, but this is what the tax tables show, and this will give you an idea of if you're a high income earner, how much you'll be getting. If you're a low income earner, how much you'll be getting take home. So what this means is, does this mean that in Australia, the maximum amount of money you can earn is $167,500 if you are formally employed? No, this is like your base salary. In Australia, I'll talk about the exceptions. They also have things like penalty rates. If you work like afternoon shift, night shift, if you work overtime, that amount can increase. There are also exceptions for people who for example, like doctors who get paid per patient, and their figure is like their pay is not really set as this is the annual amount that you're gonna get. Their pay can fluctuate, and it can depend on the number of patients they see. So this is just like figures of like, you know, your base salary if you're formally employed. They're just like different ranges. It does give you a very good idea of how much you will earn in Australia. I am formally employed. I work full time, and I can tell you that in my workplace, you know, these figures are accurate. Like these ranges are accurate. And the other exception is an executive. If you're an executive, you are probably earning above that high income threshold. You're probably earning above $167,000. And executives are people like, you know, CEOs, general managers, those kind of levels. You're probably earning more than that. So, you know, if you're liking the bag, don't get disheartened that, oh, in Australia, this is the maximum amount of money that I can earn. Absolutely not. You can definitely earn more money than this. And the other thing that you can do is you can have multiple jobs. It's not very common in Australia, but people do have more than one job sometimes, and you can then like pay your income from the two jobs and combine it together and earn more income. But this is just to give you an idea. I know when I first came to Australia, I loved to calculate how much can I earn, and the mistake that I made is I didn't know the pre-tax and the post-tax dollars. So I would hear of a job and I would calculate my take-home income based on how much I'll be paid an hour, and I would go on like, places like seek.com, which is a very popular, I talk about seek.com a lot, a very popular job search website in Australia. And I would look at, oh, they're going to be paying $30 an hour, and then I'll calculate that and say, oh, I'm going to have all this money, and forget that there's tax. So the best way to calculate how much tax you'll be charged is to go to the Australian Tax Office website and look at the weekly tax tables, and that will give you an approximate figure of how much tax you're going to be charged. And then you keep in mind, sometimes some workplaces have compulsory super contributions that will need to be put into consideration as well for your post-tax take-home pay. But basically, that is the income range that exists currently in Australia. The minimum wage, $23.23 per hour. So if you're calculating like how much you can earn, or you're trying to see if you're being paid enough money, just know that that is the minimum wage as set by the Fair Work Commission in Australia. And you can verify those figures online just to give you assurance. And if you want to, maybe talk to your employer to say, I'm not getting paid enough, this is actually below the minimum wage, you can use those figures. You can go and do your research and get that up-to-date information from there. And remember, I said this information is as of the 1st of July 2023. So those are the figures that you can get paid in Australia. In my opinion, I think that is a lot of money. As someone who's been living in Australia for the past 15 years, I can tell you that even on a minimum wage, I was at one point earning a minimum wage. When I first moved to Australia, my first job, it was minimum wage, and I could afford to live, and I could afford to live comfortably on a minimum wage. And then as I have progressed in my career and have earned higher income, I can still live comfortably, even more comfortably, with a higher income. So if you're earning minimum wage in Australia, you can definitely live a decent life for you and your family, especially if you have double income, dual income household. Then you can have even more money to your disposal. And it all depends, of course, with your type of budgeting and the kind of lifestyle that you want to live and all that. But it's you can definitely be comfortable in Australia, and you can definitely use those figures as you're searching for jobs and you're thinking, oh, what if I work in retail? What if I work in hospitality? What if I work in whatever industry you are in? Just know the minimum wage that is set in Australia, and that it is pretty good money. I feel $23.23 is pretty good money, or $882.80 per week before tax is still pretty good money. And that would like $761 a week after tax take home is still pretty good money. Being mindful that the cost of living has gone up and things are more expensive. I do also some grocery hauls to show you like how much groceries are in the shops and everything, if you want to have a look at those videos as well, to kind of give you a bit of an idea of the cost of basic groceries that you can buy a week. You can look at those videos as well. But yeah, it's all based on your lifestyle. And I say that Australia is one of those countries where people do not have to have like two jobs, because they pay pretty decent amount of money. And a lot of people that I know personally get paid way more than the minimum wage. And I'll just give you an idea of the different ranges that people get paid an hour. So there's the minimum wage. If you're kind of like mid range, you're kind of getting paid about $30 to $40 an hour. If you're now going into like the more senior range, you're getting paid $50 plus an hour. So $50, $60, $70, $80 an hour. So that's how much you can earn in Australia. So if you're looking to move to Australia, use those figures, see if it's worth it. Firstly, based on what you are currently earning in the country that you are living, see if it's worth the move for you, first of all, to move to Australia. And if it is, then you can start calculating away. and see how much you can earn and what kind of lifestyle you can live. I hope that's been helpful, and if you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. Send me an email if you want to have more detailed discussion about anything. My email is in the description box, so I look forward to interacting with you, or you can connect with me on Instagram as well. All the details are in the description box below. I will see you in my next video.